Hey, security peeps. We are live with another edition of Breaking into Cybersecurity. But right now, I'm Renee Small, cybersecurity super recruiter, helping awesome leaders hire great talent. And I'm here with my co-host today and co-author, Marcus Carey. Hey, Marcus.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. And Marcus, he's not playing fair. He has on the whole t-shirt going on. So not fair. So not fair. Um, so we are here to talk about our new book, Hacker Inc. Mindset for Your Career. So Marcus, do you want to chime in, or you want us to get the presentation up before we get it up? Anything you want to say?
Uh, I think what I'm excited to talk about this. This is something that we talk about time to time. We're always talking about how we help people get into cybersecurity, and uh, and so what we both thought it'd be good if we collaborated and did a book to try to tell people how to get into that right mindset. I think it's mind over matter in many cases, and I'm happy that we got a chance to get this done. Happy we get a chance to share uh, everything today with people and building a community and movement around this Hacker Inc. mindset. I'm very excited about it.
Me too. Me too. And if you have not gotten the book yet, folks, make sure you get this book. Hacker Inc. Mindset for Your Career. Get it, get it, get it now. Okay, so Marcus, you and I are going to jump in and start talking about some of the quotes we had in the book. So I'm going to add some of the quotes up here. Can you see it?
Yep.
You see the slide? Okay, awesome. So we'll kick it off with the very first quote, which comes from me. Consistency in your brand builds recognition and trust.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Go ahead. What are you gonna say about that?
I, as a recruiter, I'm dealing with this literally day to day, like every single day, and seeing the branding of a person. And so when a candidate or someone, if when I look at it, when I'm looking at a person from a candidate's perspective, and leaders are looking at you as a candidate from a candidate perspective, they're seeing your Twitter, they're seeing, or your X, they're seeing your LinkedIn profile, they're seeing everywhere that you have, your digital presence, so to speak. And so, if on one platform it has one thing going on and another platform has something else, that's a challenge. If you're in LinkedIn and it's kind of scattered, that becomes a challenge. One of the things that I've seen that I actually was coaching some folks on this past summer was around consistency in what they are trying to do.
Yep.
So when you're looking at, like, if you're especially the career transition people,
Yep.
if they are looking at if they used to be something else, so you're transitioning into cyber and you have a LinkedIn profile and it's janky, right? So it has
Mhm.
this type of job and this type of job and all these other things, and so it confuses anyone that's looking for you to anyone that's looking to, like, hire you. They want to know, well, what are you doing? Are you still doing this, or are you now doing cyber? So consistency across the board is really key. Marcus, you want to add anything?
Yeah, totally. I do 100% agree. Consistency is definitely a key. I see the same thing. People trying to transition from different careers. Sometimes they're reluctant to change things as I tell them they need to change. Hey, you need to update your LinkedIn. Oh, it's cool you were in the entertainment industry, but you might want to position that in a different way. You might want to talk about all the things that you could actually position it for. Like, maybe in an entertainment industry, for instance, this is a good example. As maybe you did, if you had your own record label. I had a dude who was a rapper, and shout out to my man if you see what I'm putting down here. He was a rapper, and he was like, he managed all his own bookings. He did all this and all that. I said, yeah, there's a way you can do that. Take all the management experience and all that stuff, and talk about how you manage. It's okay to have a record label there, but you want to emphasize all those corporate related things so people can say, okay, cool. Yeah, this is interesting. they will think it's interesting that you were an entertainer or whatever that may be, because I think we bring our full self to the equation. You know, if you were up there entertaining people, you're going to be might probably be a good public speaker. You're probably going to be the life of the party. I mean, from a sales perspective, or there's so many opportunities in cyber, like sales engineering, that would be great for. That's a great story. Yeah, I used to rap, you know, or whatever. So I think that people tend not to want to change the narrative. You got to have the narrative, and when we say brand, it's talking about what you're selling at this particular moment. You're selling cybersecurity. You're selling, I'm a good person for whatever job. And I think this matter. This is actually this goes through anything. It doesn't matter if it's cybersecurity or not. Whatever you're going, whatever role you're going for at the time, you want to put on the best brand so there's not confusion there. Don't don't confuse me. Don't confuse the people that are hiring you. We want it to be super consistent, and it's okay to have a different backstory. Every superhero has an origin story, right? You know, that's how it works. So don't worry so much about that, but always try to position it and be consistent in the branding so it can kind of make sense. It's like we heard that term, make it make sense, right?
Make it make
So,
sense.
you have it has to make sense why it's a logical progression or transition. But if you still seem like you're stuck in your old life, the person might not think you're committed to doing cybersecurity or whatever you're going for. So you need to paint it in that lens, that angle where it's a believable story. Life, sales, it's all about telling stories. Make the story believable.
Absolutely. So very true. And I have a buddy. I wonder if it's the same buddy that's a rapper. He's also but he's in security. Like he's already in. But it's
Mhm.
so absolutely so true. Couple comments here. So Jose says absolutely in marketing growth discussions, repeated exposure is key for getting possibilities. So true. And then Zanette says, congrats to you both. First quote and on point. That's why I created the person how to build your brand in cybersecurity.
Oh,
Good.
that's what's up. I have to
Yeah.
check that out.
I mean, me too. I'm like, Zanette, what's going on? All right. So next one. I'll let you kick this one off.
All right, cool. So this is actually one of the this is almost the main thesis of the book here. Um, and so I think sometimes people get it twisted, especially nowadays. Back in the day, you used to be able to work at a factory or something like that, and you used to work the same place the whole time, forever, and that's what it was. So you could live in your own little town. But I think that even like in many places in the country, people are finding out that it's not the same anymore. We have a global economy. Many of those manufactured jobs have been shipped overseas, and funny enough, even a lot of technical roles are being shipped overseas because now you can work remotely from everywhere. So it's a different dynamic. And so what you have to do is you have to, in your mind, you have to, if you're not even an independent contractor or not, you got to think that you're an independent contractor because the companies don't have the same loyalty and they don't have to as they used to back in the day. And what it's not, I don't even know if it was loyalty. It was just the way that it was built back in the day. You could
Right.
work in a factory town and make your money, make your retirement, do all that stuff. But nowadays, you got to treat yourself as a CEO of Yourself Inc. You are the hacker. You are Hacker Inc. That's where this whole mindset is all about. And so you have to be able to market yourself, be able to offer services. What services do you bring to the table? You have Renee has a fire quote coming up here about this. Being the solution. So what solutions do you provide? How do you frame yourself as a company? And even though you're working for XYZ, and I tell people all the time, sometimes people get it twisted and they think because they work for Facebook or Google and all this other stuff. I go to Black Hat or DEF CON, people introduce themselves as that identity. Oh, I'm a red teamer Facebook. I'm a red teamer Google, whatever. That's their whole identity. But to me, that's not my brand. My brand is Marcus J. Carey. And right. And so I'm gonna be an amazing employee or amazing partner, wherever I'm at. I'm gonna be amazing. But I think people get it twisted. Like you make the brand doesn't make you. So Facebook doesn't make you any. I'm giving myself thumbs up. Facebook, Facebook doesn't make you any better person. The people that are badasses that working at Facebook, they make Facebook awesome, right?
Right.
So it's exactly the opposite. So me, Marcus Carey, and that's my brand. My brand name, quote unquote, my mom and dad gave me. I really don't go by no hacker name or nothing like that. It is what it is. I'm Marcus J. Carey, and I have to keep my skills up to date. I have to promote myself. I have to write books. I have to write blog posts. So
Right.
that's the mindset that you need to be in, and you're bringing value. Like that's the deal. Like one, I have even have my own internal slogan or motto. My motto is I want to be a blessing to anybody I interact with. Like I think like a business all the time,
Right.
and that's how I want people to get into that mindset. You got to think like you're a CEO of your own company, and that's what it is. You got to think about benefits, retirement, all these different things. You got to think about all that stuff. You got to be the CEO of you. You are Hacker Inc.
Right. Right. So, Marcus, I want to put it back up here and remind and restate the quote: "Treat your career like a business. You're the CEO," and that's the quote. So, Hacker Inc. I mean, there's nothing else for me to say because you just said it all.
I wonder if I don't know if we have any, and yeah, so definitely chime in on the questions anytime. We like being interactive. We're not robots. We can go off script. You know,
Yep.
we put these quotes here because these quotes are kind of like the guiding principle to the book, and the book has tons of exercises. If you haven't picked it up yet, tons of exercises to actually level up and how do you treat your own career as you're the CEO of your own career. And I
Exactly.
haven't mentioned outcomes yet, though, Renee. Renee, me and Renee, I talk all about outcomes and like what are
Right.
the outcomes that you're going to deliver as the CEO of your own business. So in the book, you're going to hear outcome, outcome, outcome. This is all about delivering amazing outcomes.
Exactly. Exactly. And I didn't get to say happy Halloween to everybody, to people that celebrate Halloween. So happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy, happy
Um,
Halloween. I'm dressed up as an angry black man.
oh my
This is my
God.
costume every year.
Uh, I, I thought about I thought about wearing. I have all these different things, and I said, you know what? I can't. Not today. Oh my
Hey,
God.
I got plenty of masks on deck
I
all
got
at all times.
my son. I have a mask that's right there, and I said, nah,
Yeah.
it's gonna mess up my makeup. Um. Okay, cool. So let's hop into the next one. Uh, and there's a comment about rappers. Let's see. Next slide is authentic. So the quote is authenticity builds trust in professional relationships. And so Marcus, I think this is a combination for the two of us to talk about this because I like how you talked about like code switching and things like that. So I definitely want you to chime in. But Marcus and I talked about how how I started this podcast with Chris Folon, and we would have people come, consistently, and they kept coming back and coming back. And we would have people that would come back repeatedly, and I asked them. I had a separate private kind of conversation with a group of about 50 of the folks that would come back really often, and I said, "Hey, what is it that makes you come back?" And one of the themes that kept coming up over and over again is how real I was. They were like, because you're real, you're in the trenches, you're like us, like it wasn't this thing where it's Renee, the CEO, and I'm going to talk like this. I was just, who I am. When you call me on the phone, it's the same person. When I'm on Zoom, it's the same person. On this, it's the same person. So it's not, 45 different people and you turn your head one way and it's somebody else. So, being authentic, being your true authentic self and granted, I've had conversations with people about this, like, well, when you're in this setting, you're not going to, you know, say something like this or be like this. It's you're still you. Obviously, if you're in a different setting, if I'm talking to little kids or if I'm in front of someone, I'm not going to say some, colorful language that I might say with another group, but it's still going to be the same person. It's not like a completely different person. So you want to be authentic. I mean, you don't want to have again, especially from a digital perspective, because we could just Google you and see like all the different things that are happening. And
Mhm.
not to say that we're not multifaceted people, we do different
Yeah.
things, but we don't want to be like a different person. So Marcus, chime in, chime in.
Yeah, so I have strong opinions on this. If anybody's ever met me in person, if the way we're talking, I'm the same person all the time. And I only have one mode. It's just me, and just being who I am. And I want to encourage everybody to kind of like understand yourself and be yourself. And being yourself is okay. And I'll tell you what the problem is with code switching and being inauthentic. All right. We don't talk about it in the book, but this is great that we're having this so we can get all our thoughts out, and hopefully y'all are enjoying this. So here's my opinion on code switching. All right. Uh, I've mentored people. It's so funny to me because and sometimes I've been talking to people. I talk about hip hop all the time. I talk about rap. Oh man, that was really cool. All that we talking we talking slang, right? And and I've had some black friends of mine that were in business and stuff too. They were talking all slang and all this and all that, and I pretty much talk slang all the time too. I talk slang all the time. Period. That's me. So my buddy, we talking about this rapper. Oh man, that's dope. Da 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 da. He gets a phone call. Yeah, what's going on? Blah 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 blah. And he like totally switched the joint up. I'm like, bruh, like it blows my mind. I'm like, bro. And so, and when it made me. I'm like, who am I talking to? This is not consistent. We just talk about Jay-Z. Now you now you're talking about, so you're on a whole different situation here. So what is funny to me, and it's sad because I think that some people think they have to put on some kind of act. I actually wrote a really good post about this recently too. I don't code switch
Yeah.
because I people see you code switching and they know that you being fake. I've seen this with women too. I've seen women I've seen women that I know that will complain about like how people remarks and comments that people make, and then when they're around people, they'll make the same wild comments and like, whoa, like what? Are you just trying to fit in? Like it. I don't understand it. So,
Yeah.
and when people see it, it's not consistent, fam. Like it's not consistent at all, and it's not being authentic at all. And what everybody around is that they know you being fake. People know it. Like it's this saying, definitely the real people, they say real recognize real. And some of y'all looking
Hmm.
very unfamiliar, right? So
Right.
be authentic, be yourself. Because like me, like I mean, I hope sometimes I probably sound like I'm wild and bragging or whatever. I'm super technical, right? And you wouldn't know it because I don't so much lead with that technical stuff and act like I'm a nerd. I mean, I'm a nerd big time. Renee, you've seen up close and personal. I got technical stuff. I can build any technology. I'm a beast with it, right? And
I said,
so,
Marcus,
but
I want to see this. He's like, oh, we built it. We just built it.
yeah, yeah. So it's all about you can be your authentic self if you're from the country, if you're from the hood, and like just be yourself. And people respect that. People will respect it more if you're being authentic. So I want to encourage everybody, people, definitely people that are underrepresented in tech, just be your
Yeah.
dang self, and and even like some of some of my white friends and in tech, it's mostly white people and Indian people and a couple of black people, right? So this is the funny dynamics though. Sometimes people try to talk like hip to me, and I know that's not their. They don't talk
Right.
like that.
Right.
What's up, dog? I'm just like, what?
Or hey girl. It's like,
It's
okay.
so wild. Just be authentic, and we all can get along. You just be yourself. I'm gonna be
It's
myself.
funny.
I'm gonna keep it 1,000 at all times. Don't worry about that. I'm holding it down for all the hoods out there, right?
Okay. That
But
is
just
funny.
be yourself. And at the end of the day, what really matters is yeah.
I'll
So
leave with my
what
right
really
foot.
matters is
Fun.
you're being authentic. And that's all people care about. And outcomes is the only thing that matters. It doesn't matter all this other stuff and all this stuff you can it doesn't none of this stuff matters except getting outcomes. But it seemed like people get lost and they think that the acting part, if they act real good, that's what does it. No, it doesn't. The reason why I do what I do, and my friends tell me, well, you can do that because you're super technical and you know your stuff. I was like, it's nothing holding anybody back from being the
Knowing your
best that
stuff.
they can be. That's
Yeah.
what you focus on. Don't focus on the acting part, you know?
Right.
Hopefully that makes sense.
No. I mean, you preaching to the choir, as you know. I got a couple of funny comments here. Well, Sam says, before I jump in, speaking of rappers, so we don't know who that is. Sam, let us know. Um, George says, the reason I keep coming back is the money you pay me, right, Renee? George is funny. Tell Marcus about the piles of gold. I don't, the only gold I have is in here. In my brain. In my brain. George trying to put me on blast. Um, but Marcus, I mean, you're so
I said that verse. So talking about rappers, I'm gonna give you this one. I said Renee Small is the illest. Your stylist play like Arnold, and what you talking about, Willis? Represent for BK's finest.
That's right. That's right. BK's finest, baby. But yes, we are on the same page. But I think, that people do it because they're trying to fit in. And I think that what I've seen, is like growth. So I think, the more comfortable you are within your own skin, the more confident you are about what you do, kind of like what you just said. Oh, you could do that because you're super technical and you know your stuff. So whatever lane that you're going to pick and be in that lane so that you can be that super comfortable person in your skin, you know? And I think that part of it, it's like, hey, I know my stuff. I'm really good at what I do. I'm confident about that. So I can be myself for real. Now, we're not saying go curse people out and stuff, but if that's your thing, if that's your comfortable self, but just owning who you are, like being the best you, not trying to pretend to be somebody else. And that's in all, that's in everything. That's not only like the corporate code switch type thing. It's just, trying to model. Cause I see some of this too, where people try to model and try to do what somebody else is doing when you can just stay in your swim lane and own your space and be the best person that you can be in what you do. So,
Yeah, and I think that even sometimes when some people say, "Oh, that person's an a-hole" or whatever, well, I mean, and there's people that are a-holes, but at the end of the day, the people that you think they're going to give outcomes to the company and the business, and
yep.
that's what matters. As long as they don't hurt nobody or whatever like that, those
Yep.
a-holes can, as long as they do the job and they're creating outcomes. Sometimes, like the reality of business and work is like it's not a popularity contest. It's not um and this is hard. I love to be friendly with everybody and all that stuff personally, but I think that people forget that it's outcomes that people pay you for. It's not about any of this other stuff. That
Yeah.
all the other stuff does not matter. Is that I'm paying you a lot of money. What am I getting in return from a company? Right?
Right.
That's it.
Right. And it's so true. I was talking about one of my buddies, my buddy Namdi, and shameless plug. He has a very, very cool podcast called Tech Behind FinTech. But the both of us worked in banking. And we talked about how, that's like a-hole central. Like they don't, you don't care, folks are cursing. It just goes down. But the bottom line is you're bringing in that money. You're the best at what you have no choice. Like you have to be good. You have to produce. You have to do your job. You have to do, you have to be that good. And then when you're that good, people blow the rest of that stuff off because it's just like, hey, this person is getting me what I need, like the outcome again, the outcome, the outcome, the outcome. So Jesse says we're describing his brother. Jesse, tell your brother, come on, watch the show. George says, I take my skin off every day and press it on an ironing board. He is funny. And Sam says, not sure on the rapper himself, but it's a song rapper who's very concerned with password security. So I don't know who that is. You know who that is, Marcus? No.
Uh, I don't know. It might be me. I might have some. I might have to throw some bars.
So, Marcus, this one is yours. Your personal brand is the most important brand. Talk about that quote.
Yeah. I think that the genesis of just thinking about that is that I think that sometimes people care more about everything else than they do than their own situation. And the best way that you can change the world is changing yourself. So if you want to create amazing outcomes in the world, the first thing you can do is like crafting. You have to be, like we talked about, you have to be authentic, you have to know your stuff, you have to deliver outcomes. If you can just focus on that, everything else falls into place. Your whole life is going to fall in place if you have that all together, because you're being consistent in what you say, how you act, all those different things. And at the end of the day, that's a brand. A brand is something in my head. If I think of Renee, I think a certain thing. If you think of Marcus, you think a certain thing. And that consistency, that being authentic, being the best at what I do, all those different things, it lines up. And if you make sure that all that stuff is lined up, you're not going to have a problem in life in general, because you have that brand, and that brand will precede itself. I don't worry too much about a lot of stuff for as like employment or anything like that, because I know that there's people that know me and would mess with me if if I had found a job. I'm pretty sure that you want to make sure that that personal brand is like the name precedes itself. What do people think about that? And you don't have to have like a name like this, because I do have a little bit of name in cybersecurity, but you can start where you are. And I like to point to the and there's a, like when you go in the mall and you like lost and you don't know where you're going, it's like, and you look at the thing, it says you are here, right? So where
Mhm.
are you in that mall? And like in your mind map, where do I need to get to, and what steps do I need to go to get there? And that's that brand. Like you can start cultivating that brand where you are right now, and then eventually start putting more layers onto the brand, and learning more skills. And that's what the hacker mindset is all about. How do I start off where I'm, make that look amazing, make it authentic, make people want to give me an opportunity, and then build, offer more services, learn more things, and all those different things. So that's exactly what it is, right? So that's how you have to approach that.
You had a really great point when you and I were chatting about this, and you said, when you go into Louis Vuitton, that's one brand versus when you go to Coach, and what are you getting, and when you go there, what are you expecting? So when you have the different brand, I mean, he was talking to he and I were talking when you and I were talking, Marcus, and you were saying that, and I think that's so relevant. Like, you're not going to McDonald's to get filet mignon. Like, there's an expectation set, when you walk into these varying places, and thinking about that for you as an individual. Like, what are people getting? What do they think when they walk up to you or your work or whatever it is? What do they think they're getting, and is it consistent, and is it authentic?
Dang, that's really good. You're right. I do like talking about those brands, because it's different experiences. I mean, you go into a Louis Vuitton or and I can't afford half the stuff I be looking at. You go into like a Hublot, they hey, you need some water, you want some champagne, you want some bourbon.
Champagne.
Like
Right.
that's the kind of experience. That's a world class experience. How are you giving people a world class experience in your life? Like, can you do that? Yeah, you can do that. I mean, sometimes just being nice is amazing, right?
Right.
And But you know what's hilarious? Like I got this coffee shop. I love me some coffee. I like to make my own coffee, and I will try coffee shops. So I went into this coffee place down the street from me. Just opened up. It's Austin. I live in Austin, Texas. Tons of coffee shops. So go in. The place was actually nice inside, right? But I ordered some coffee and I got one of the little snacks or little pastries or whatever. It was trash, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, I cannot believe that the coffee was trash and the pastry was trash, right?
That's a mess.
So I think that's how I think about life, though, right? What are you offering, and what's that experience? When what's that experience, right? Are you giving people delightful experiences in your life? You feel me? Like, are you doing that? Like, what's that interaction with? What's that customer service when you get what that you're giving to people? And that has to be the mindset. It has to be outcome focused. It has to be customer focused. Everybody that you're around is your customer. Everybody. Like, whether you're at the park, Renee volunteers all the time. I don't know how she do it. She got like she's spinning plates with volunteering
75
on
things.
stuff. But every experience that Renee is giving, if her brand is a world class experience, that's what you have to be aiming for. And that's what I do with this experience here. Like I want people to take away and be able to run and implement stuff. I want people to be able to read the Hacker Inc. mindset book and do some of the exercises and things. And like, all right, cool, boom, I'm leveling up. I had somebody text me the other day and said, because we did have a free PDF version. If you go back on our history, there's I think we gave out the first 2 chapters. I had people tell me they implemented stuff from the first 2 chapters just by getting a PDF, and then they
Yeah,
went and
that's
bought the
dope.
book.
Right.
So we're giving you 2 pages of world class experience for free, and that's what you want to get. That you want to offer people outcomes and world class experiences in every aspect of your life, and that's what I kind of strive for, and that's my
Yep.
mindset, and that's the mindset that I'm trying to convey to other people.
Yep. Absolutely. So let's see. Next up, networking is about building mutually beneficial relationships. That's my quote. It's so true. And I don't know if my other quote is in here that goes with this around giving first.
Yep,
Um,
I think it's in here. Yep,
I think it's in here
that'll be in here.
somewhere. But the networking component is so important um, to opportunities, to job growth, to everything. I mean, I'm one of these people that tends to be a natural, like my mom used to say I could make friends with a fly. Like I'm just interested in people. And I think that's why I really truly love recruiting. People talk to me, it's so funny. They say, you're like really, I believe what you say and stuff because as a recruiter, especially doing it for as long as I've been doing it, you have to be authentic for people to trust you, and you have to tell the truth. Like, you know, I'll have a conversation about with a person about a position, and if I'm listening to what they're saying, or if it's like some crazy long commute and they're trying to talk themselves into it, and I'll tell them, I don't think this is one is the right fit. Like this one might not be. You're saying you have a little baby, and this commute is an hour and a half, and all the things. Like, do you really want this? Which I think is probably different to what their experiences have been with other recruiters just trying to fill the job. And so um, there'll be a discussion around, being again authentic. It's all the same things over and over again. But networking with this quote is being true. It's being, it's really being authentic. It goes back to the authenticity. It goes back to being mutually beneficial, and even saying something like that, like, "Hey, I want this one isn't the right fit. It's going to be new opportunities." Those same people will come back around and say, "Okay," and then they'll be sharing opportunities with me for other recruiting, or I'm sharing opportunities with something else that may not come across my desk that I'm working on. And I'm like, hey, you want to take a look at this? um, when I talk about giving and volunteering and all those things, the mutually beneficial component, like you're a volunteer. If you're volunteering at B-Sides, for example, and Marcus, weren't you a keynote at B-Sides the other day?
Oh yeah, this weekend I'm keynoting at B-Sides Charleston. I'll be there
It's coming.
Saturday.
It's upcoming. I thought
Yep,
you did one.
Saturday.
Okay, cool. So yeah, being that, donating, volunteering your time, volunteering your efforts, and connecting with people and being a human, I say that a lot, excuse me, being a human, connecting with people and saying and building a relationship with them so that they might not be your friend tomorrow, but ultimately you want to have this group of, people who are, associates, friends, things like that, so that when opportunities arise, they're sharing with you. And when opportunities arise on your end, you're sharing with them. So definitely being, in a space where it's mutually beneficial for both people. And I'm big and huge on giving first, volunteering first, being the person who is can support, can provide information first, so that when the person comes back, they're like, oh, I want to, it's kind of like sharing toys when you're a kid. It's like, here, I'm going to share my toy with you. And then the other kid says, okay, I can share mine with you too. So it's a when I say mutually beneficial, that's what I mean. Like really sharing with people, being the person who can provide information, tips, anything. And people may think like, what do I have to offer? Especially when you're newer in your career. You're offering your experiences. You're offering your I may want to know. I often do this a lot. I want to know from um, folks in college, folks that are early in their career, new in their career, like, what are y'all learning? And what is it like now? And, like when I was in college 20 something years ago, like what's happening now, right? That's information that's valuable to me. So
100%.
understanding that and building that relationship, and they may think like, oh, I don't have anything to offer. Your experience is very, very valuable, because then I can take that to my client and say, when they say, why are Gen Z people turning over every 11 months or whatever, I can say, hey, this is the reason why, this is what they're being taught. This is what's happening, So don't feel that, especially the folks that have not a lot of experience yet, that the experience that that you do have isn't valuable. So I'll end with that one. Marcus, you want to say anything about this one?
Oh yeah, yeah. You know I always have something to say. So on the networking side, I've been like networking my whole career. I think that what you do when it comes to networking is and we got other slides. We got a bunch of fire quotes from us to just
Yeah.
me and Renee talking. We record all our conversations because we never know when you're gonna drop a gem. But when it comes to networking, as Renee said, sometimes people don't think they add any value. You're always going to add value. And so one of the things I do, if I find some new tech or I see an article or whatever, I'll share that with my little network. I'll say, hey, did you
Yeah.
see this article? Did you see this? Did you see that? That's actually providing value to a lot of people. So sometimes maybe they don't. And it could be as simple as sharing these things on social media and things of that nature. So social media and is a great way to kind of like network and actually add value to people. And when you see something, say, hey, did you see this app? So also a thing about networking is network is not about you. If you flip it and say, what can I help? How can I help Renee? Right? That's how you have to be for your network. It comes down to being a business and serving people almost like they're a customer in your
Yep.
mind. How can I help Renee? Right? So I come across something related to jobs or something, and oh dang, Renee would love this article. Boom, I send it to Renee. Right? And we're in an information age where information has value. Share that information, and that's what you can do. And it's such a beautiful thing when I hear from somebody I haven't heard from in a couple of years. Hey, boom, hey Mark, you see this? I was thinking about you. And like in part of the technique that we said in the book is like outreach. after you meet somebody at a conference or after you do that, how can you give them a little bit of value? Hey, it was great seeing you at that conference. Man, did you see this new article on such and such we talked about at the conference? So keep top of mind, like what people interests are. It could be a football team or whatever. You have to be like a salesperson in your mind. I'm not, I have to learn sales because I'm an entrepreneur, but that's how you have to do. Great salespeople establish rapport with people, and that's networking. You're establishing rapport. You're finding out what kind of outcomes people want in life. That could be fishing. That person's in the fishing. Oh man, there's this fishing thing coming up. I'm gonna send that to him. It does not have to be technical, and that's why people get it twisted. I talk to people about all kind of crazy stuff, but when it comes to getting the business outcomes, we strictly business on that piece. But establishing rapport and networking is not about bits and bytes. So even though I'm a nerd to my core, but this is a rapport building sales kind of mindset. That's why salespeople always that's why they're always friendly and all that stuff. Some of them are fake, but at the same time, we're talking about being authentic and being out there and establishing rapport with people and providing value to people. It's a combination that it just works. And you know what's funny? It just feels good. When you help somebody out, it feels good. So I think that if you just do all these things, everything works out. And then ever in the future, if you needed a new job or you needed those people know that you're going to provide value and outcomes and you're a team player. Most of the time, go ahead. Oh, you're on mute.
No, they're going to want to help you. They're
Yep.
going to want to do it like actively instead of just blowing you off. They'll say, oh, I really want to help this person. I really want to get them what they need.
Yep. And I think that, and that's another thing that I think we kind of cover in the book, but I want to explicitly say it now, is that most of the time when you go in for an interview, they're trying to see if you can help them. And you have to convey that sense of, I might not know everything, but I'm here to help. And you can, the magic is making it happen in a super fast capacity. And how that works is that could even work after the fact. Hey, cool. You did the interview, great interview. Email them. Hey, cool. Thank you for the interview. Really love that thing. Oh, I found an article on this thing, such and such. Like, boom. Those are the kind of things. And also follow up. This is almost like sales. We talk about it in the book. It's sales in the sense that you might not get that job now, but you might be so awesome that they're like, man, we really like that dude. And by following up, it's like a salesperson following up on those leads. And we talk about that in the book. But Renee, we could do another session on these quotes. I don't think we halfway through. We might have to cut it off at 10.
Yeah. We'll do another session. But I just want to share some of the comments here. George is all in. Mozart's Coffee Roasters. Do you know that spot?
Oh, I'll check it out. Hope he's good.
Well, George, I'll go to some of George's comments. He grew up in Austin. He wants to know the first B-side meeting in Austin. So
I think he said we met at B-sides Austin. Awesome.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Jesse says it goes both ways. Here in Minneapolis, there are coffee shops that look run down from the outside, but are amazing on the inside and have delicious food and drinks inside. That's so true.
Yeah,
That's
I
New
love
York. That's New York all day long.
Oh yeah, you can't judge it. You cannot judge a book by its cover. But those deliver those amazing experiences, and don't be so. And that's what I'm saying. Like that to me says it's authentic. Meet me where I'm at, wherever how I look, but I'm going to give to you world-class outcomes.
Right.
And that those businesses are focused on outcomes. They could be focused on being busy, or being pretty and all that stuff and that. But they got the main thing down.
Exactly. And it goes to the brand, right? So that brand of the pretty place, you're like, oh, your expectations are high. So you're expecting this like amazing food and it's trash, and then you go in this place and your expectations might be kind of low, like, this looks like it's kind of janky, and then you walk in and it's whoa. So
that's the actual brand. The brand is how you
that's
feel,
the brand.
right? It's not about sometimes the aesthetics, but even though the aesthetics might look right sometimes, and this could be, you could be all dressed up,
Right.
down, have your designer on, this, that, and the third, but
And
but
be
the outcomes are
nasty.
trash.
Right. Oh, you
You're
got a
not
funky
building a
attitude.
business. I'm
Right.
like, bro, that's what you forgetting what really matters. It's great that you can get past the interview. And what's funny is that a lot of people, they great at interviews, great looking LinkedIn, great. Then they get into the job and they
It's a disaster.
thought they made it. They thought that that was
Right.
that was
That's
not the mission. They misunderstood the assignment. The assignment was not to get hired.
to get the
The
job,
assignment is
right?
to get in there and be an absolute badass. That's the assignment.
Oh my God. And that happens so it happens not a ton, but I've seen sometimes when it happens and everyone's stumped. And I say to leaders sometimes with people that don't interview as well, because sometimes people are in their jobs, right? So when they're interviewing, they don't interview all the time. So I have to remind leaders sometimes, it's like, well, this, that. I'm like, they're not professional interviewers. Like the ones that you really want to look at, pay attention to are the people that sound great, look great, all this stuff, and see if they actually truly deliver. Because a lot of people who are just in their jobs, when they interview, like you're doing your job, you might not be thinking like every step, or when they're asking you like different questions. So I always tell leaders that come back with that kind of feedback is to be mindful that sometimes it may not come out. It may, the person might be great, kind of like this scenario, but it's not coming out the way it's supposed to look on the front end. But behind the scenes, like the person's really, really great at what they do. So that is a good one. Thank you, Jesse, for that comment. All right. Back to the all right. Soft skills often make the difference in career advancement. So very true. I mean, it goes with everything that we talked about. Occasionally, yes, you can be the a-hole. You better be damn good at what you do. And people most likely are coming to you for your skill. When you're the top of the spear, tip of the spear, like, folks are gonna come to you. But the soft skills, the communication, working and playing well with others. One of the things that comes off a lot in what I hear a lot about in interviewing, especially, is culture fit, and just being able to build that rapport, like everything that Marcus was just talking about. Building the rapport, connecting with the leaders, connecting with the people that are peers, or would be your peers. I had a recent someone that I recently placed in a cool opportunity, and when I talked to him about the role after he interviewed, I said, how did the interview go? He said, it's like I was already working there. Like we were already kind of gelling and talking, and we're having this conversation, and it's like I worked there already. I was like, well, that's great. And he's like, yeah. And they were telling me, they were giving him little, the role says it's on site all the time, but low key, we kind of, we're not on site all the time, so they started giving him the scoop. And that, him building that rapport, those soft skills, those communication skills, those being able to kind of obviously work well with them, work well with the team. Like, this is how I do it. This is how I would do it. This is how we do it. All of that is a great way to show off to, the people that you're interviewing with, if you're interviewing, and your current team. So, you don't want to be, you can be there are a-holes out there. It is what it is. But most people don't want that. They want to have someone that's easy to work with, that's not going to be, George here says, I have soft skills with a hammer. You don't want to be the hammer. You don't want to be that person. So
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's true. You really truly those are the career, those are the difference makers. And especially as you start to move up in the career and you're going from more technical, leads and principal architects, things like that, transitioning over to leadership, if that's what you want to do, managing people and things like that, definitely want to hone these skills.
Yeah.
Marcus?
Yeah. So I think that what I see a lot of times is that people think it's some kind of technical talent show when they go into interviews and stuff, where they think if they know all the answers and all this and all that, and that's what they focus on,
A
right?
technical talent show. I'm writing that down.
Yeah, they've been practicing all this tech stuff and this interview programming questions and all this. You know what I'm talking about? That's what they think it's all about. But in reality, people don't want to be shown up, and so you need to make them feel comfortable from a soft skills perspective that you're going to compliment them and make everybody look good. My mindset is, how do I make everybody look good, right? And you can actually, the way you communicate, you can actually tell people, look, here's my technical experience. Yes, I have tech chops, but I realize that you guys are working on the desired outcome. What does the outcome look like? And focus on how I can help deliver that outcome, right? Yeah, because you're never going to know everything about a company. It's going to take you about 6 months. And you can actually talk like I'm talking right now in an interview. You can just say, look, here's my opinion. Like, boom, yeah, I might not know this, that, and the third, but I'm pretty sure that I can get it. I'm outcome focused. How can I make this team look good? Blah blah blah. Lay that on, put that sauce on there like that. Like I'm just telling you, and people are gonna like, oh snap, this dude, he just want to make us look good. He's not trying to esoterically. People will argue on this is the best way to do this programmatically and this, that, and the third. Like, bro, nobody wants to hear that, bro. Like, but that's what people will make it about. And like, it's really like, it's like a freaking technical death match or something. And oh yeah, that was their top engineer and he didn't know half the stuff I knew, and blah blah blah. And then you're never gonna be a culture fit because you crazy, right? What you need to do is pull it back and be like, you need to be a complimentary, right? You know what I'm saying? They peanut butter, you jelly. You know what I'm saying? Find out what they trying to go for, and that's what you want to be complimentary. You don't want to be like, even if you're individual contributor like that, your role is to make everybody look good from an outcomes perspective. And this is how I said, look, I want it to be a winner for the recruiter who must win. I want Renee to win. I want the HR person to win. Everybody along that process is going to be happy with me. Dang, it was such a delightful candidate. Oh man, that was a great interview. Oh man, this dude is going to compliment us, and we can just plug him right in there. That's the mindset. That's the process that you want to deliver, and you can't lose. I've never had a bad interview, right? Because half the time I'm laughing and joking, and I'm building rapport, and they want to talk tech, and I will, yeah, cool, yeah, okay, cool. I did this, that, and the third, right? That's gonna give them a little technical. People, some people want to have a technical death match, right? Like, it's some people on their side are gonna be wild. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but you can't give them a little meat, like, all right, boom, yeah, such and such. But yeah, I don't know that. Oh man, maybe you can help me with that. Be humble, like Kendrick Lamar said, right?
Right.
You can just like, I'm here to learn. I'm here to help y'all get an amazing outcome. If you actually can do that, you're gonna win, because
Yep.
you're gonna sound like you have humility. When they say culture fit, it means two things. It means I'm threatened somehow, and I don't know if this person is going to give me the outcomes. Culture fit is like the easiest way to not get hired. But if you ensure that I'm bringing value, I'm here to learn. I just want to make you look good, you know. And I'm that's my job. And literally, if you win the job and interview and told them, I my whole role is to make everybody look good.
Yep.
I want to have the shareholders of this company, the people that's wearing these shoes or socks, whatever the end product is, outcomes are the only thing that matter. And if you can say I'm aligned with the outcomes of this team, you're a hot prospect.
Yeah.
Hope that makes sense.
It totally, I mean, as you're talking, I'm thinking about all these different things when I was when I was a recruiter inside of an organization. So not working in my own company, but working for, these Fortune 100 companies. And it truly was, this is the goal. And I would get in fights with my own team because HR in some of these spaces, they want to blame the leader, right? So they're like, well, why isn't the position filled? And we go back and forth about this kind of stuff. And I would say our goal, we're collectively trying to get them a person, like, they're not professional interviewers. Like, this is not, nobody wants to be doing this. This is all like, we're making them look good, like, to your point, we're here to support, we're here to help them look good. This is not like a blame type of thing. And it's so true. I mean, I'm listening to you talk through it and I'm thinking about my own experiences and how, and other people that I know, and they're when you have that mindset, other people pull you in for different skills that you don't even think about, but because you made them look good in this other arena, they're like, oh, well, we could bring her over to have her do something else because we know she has our back and we know she's going to make us look good. And I don't know if people hear this a lot. It's like, oh, we bringing these people on the team because these are people that have my back. These are people and that's what it means. It's the outcomes. It's, it's making the person look good, making the team look good, making the, the actual outcome, the customer, the client, whoever at the end of the day is like, I want to come back here. I want to buy the product. I want to, buy the service, whatever it is. So markets.
Yeah. And even like in an interview situation, you could make everybody look good too. You don't want to show up people in an interview. You're going in there, maybe it's a panel, maybe it's a couple of people, they're in there with their coworker. You want to say stuff like, oh, that's a good question. You want to be complimentary and feel like, oh, you want to make it feel like a collaboration. You're collaborating with those people to get the outcome of a good interview. So I'm always focused on the outcomes. Great question. Oh, that's a good question. I don't know that, but I'll get back to you. It's in their head. They're like, well, dang, I just grilled this dude and he's complimentary me
I
and
could work
appreciate
I could
my
work with
question.
them.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like a collaboration on whether, but some people view these things as confrontational, right? And so remember, rapport, be authentic, be collaborative, be professional. You're the CEO of your own company, I think we're coming up close on time here. We got. Can we squeeze one more in? Or you
Let's
want to
see
just
if we could
give
squeeze
closing thoughts?
No, let's squeeze one more. Let's see if one more is yours. You want to squeeze that one in, Marcus?
Yeah. So your network should grow as you. So basically, I've been working with some people in my life for like 20, 30 years, and I'm always still close to them. Right before I got on this call, there was my one of my buddies from NSA just hit me up, calling me. I've known this dude for like 20 some years. I have a really cool friend. A lot of people know him, Ron Eddings. I met Ron when he was like 16, 17 years old. He wrote a post about the book yesterday. So basically, Ron is now the CEO of Hacker Valley Media and doing all kind of stuff. He just took a position with Mozilla doing So and Marco, who's on that team as well, Marco Figueroa, been knowing him for like 20 years. Like, and they've all had successes, and we kind of like the whole saying is iron sharpens iron, right? And that's it. So yeah, keep on grinding, keep on and people are going to be inspired by you. You're going to inspire people, your friend group and all that stuff. And I think that in life, what we do is we end up motivating more people than we can ever imagine. My reach by doing the stuff that I've done blows my mind, and I'm happy that I can do that. So remember, my mission is I want to be a blessing. Everybody interacts with me. You have a mission, and find out what that mission is and go execute on it. You're the CEO of your own company, and I want everybody to have that Hacker Inc. mindset.
It's all about Hacker Inc. Marcus, thank you so much for being here. Folks, buy this book. Get it. It's awesome. We have a GPT. Marcus, share real quick, because we're at the end, we're wrapping up.
Yeah, so
Tell
go
them
on my
about the
LinkedIn.
GPT.
Go
Yep.
go on my LinkedIn or Twitter or X, or if you follow me on Facebook or whatever too. So we have a GPT that's going to coach you through it, and it's going to help you improve your resume. It'll do an interview with you and all that stuff. So it knows all the contents from the book, and then it can actually walk you through the book. And if you give it your resume, it'll help you update your resume. So it's your own Hacker Inc. mindset coach. So go check out the GPT. Check out our LinkedIn. We have links to the GPT on that LinkedIn.
Yep. And right before we wrap, I just want to say this comment here. Jeff says, thanks, Renee and Marcus. Been reading this book on my Kindle up to chapter 5. It's great reading options for incorporating Gen AI in the job seeking process and splitting it up for new cybersecurity talent, as well as those seasoned like myself who's looking for growth in their careers. So appreciate it immensely. Thank you, Jeff, and love the different quotes. Consistency in your brand builds recognition and trust. That is so true. Thank you so much, Jeffrey. All right, folks, you'll see us again because we only got to go through half of our slides. We're excited, like I said, about this. Marcus said the same thing. We want you to buy the book. We're coming out with all types of things as the weeks progress, aligning to the book to ensure that you all get the most value you can and get the outcomes that you want. So take care, everyone. Happy Halloween. Don't eat too much candy. Bye, everybody.